Hi folks, it's day 22 today. I've had quite a productive day today actually. Even though I know on paper it would probably seem like ridiculously easy the day I had. But to me it was kind of, yeah, it was hard going. So as I mentioned yesterday, I had a prescription that I needed to get, so I saved that for today. So it gave me kind of like a little mission that I had to go out. I had to go and get that. So I did first thing this morning. Turns out they didn't have everything, so I've got to go back again tomorrow, which is perfect. Gives me another reason to kind of get up and out. Um, and then after I got the prescription, I thought I don't want to go home now because if I go home, I won't go out again. And I felt strong enough that I could kind of hang around and do stuff. So I decided to go to the cinema. Um, So I went to see the new Hellboy movie. I'll be doing a review of that actually later, and that'll be going on my channel. So if you want to check that out, feel free. I won't be holding back. I tell you that. Um, so the cinema is normally a good option for me. It means I'm out, but I'm also in an environment where I don't really have to interact with anyone, and it's like distraction therapy as well. So I'm just focused on a film, so I'm not really doing anything else apart from watching a movie, and I'm completely absorbed normally when I'm watching films. So it's always kind of a good option for me if I want to go out and do something. Um, and then after the movie was finished, I thought I don't want to go home because I've got therapy at 6. So that means I would have had to go home and then hang around for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I'd have to go back out again. So I decided instead to go straight to Oxford Street, which is where my therapist is now working. Now, for anyone who doesn't know London that well, Oxford Street's really, really busy. It's like one of the busiest areas in London. It's always full of people, always full of tourists, shoppers, both directions. So it's kind of, you're being pushed and shoved around. And obviously, for someone who's got really bad anxiety issues, I mean, even for a normal person, that's stressful. But for someone who's got really bad anxiety, it's really, really tough. Um, so I just wanted to talk today about, because I've spoken before about feeling so anxious that I couldn't even go out. I can't like go out and interact with the world. And I want to just talk today about what I do when I am out and I kind of have anxiety issues, because it's not easy. It's not like I can't teleport away and go to safety. It's like I'm I have to deal with it. Otherwise, I'd just break down and I'd be a mess. I don't know what I'd do. So in situations like that, there are certain things that can kind of make the symptoms a bit less, I think. Today, for example, I got to Oxford Street a bit early. Funny enough, my therapist, after I'd been hanging around for an hour, like got in touch to cancel again. So I didn't actually get to see him today. So I won't see him again until next week. And part of me is really annoyed because I thought I've gone all the way to Oxford Street, I've fought through all these people to kind of hang around here for an hour, and then find out that he's not going to see me. It is a little bit frustrating. But at the same time, I'm not going to let it take away from what I feel I've accomplished today. Um, so yeah, I got to Oxford Street an hour early. I walked kind of halfway down to get to Marble Arch, and that leads directly into Hyde Park. So yeah, I went into the park and just sat on a bench next to a fountain and read my book for an hour. It's really quite relaxing. But also, before I started reading my book, an exercise that one of the therapists in the hospital I was in taught me is, when you're feeling kind of anxious like that, it's sometimes useful to kind of find a way to ground yourself. So she suggested that you should sit down. Sitting down is a good thing, because when you're sitting down, you put both feet on the floor, and just the feeling of your feet on the floor, that gives you a sense of being grounded. And your feet are on the floor and your bum's in a seat, so you can feel supported as well as being grounded at the same time. And it's amazing. It really works. It kind of, if you focus on the fact that your feet are on firmly on the floor, and that you're really supported in a seat or a bench, in my case today, it does make you feel a bit more relaxed. Reading obviously is good distraction therapy, so I was kind of, but I always had like an eye out, because I'm worried that someone's going to jump me or something from behind. Never happens, but it could happen. Music's another good one. Put your headphones in and just blast your favorite tunes. That can be really good distraction therapy. But one of the most useful things I've ever learned is to just focus on your breathing. I think it's something that we generally take for granted, that we are just going to breathe because that's how we work. We just do that. But it's amazing how much of an impact your breathing can have just on how you feel. And when you're anxious or you're like getting into a panic, your breathing normally becomes very short, so you find it very hard to breathe. Your chest gets tight. And yeah, your breathing becomes very shallow. You find it hard to get a deep breath, and that kind of makes you feel tense straight away. And if you just take a moment to just concentrate on your breathing and just force yourself almost to take just 3 deep breaths, like as deep as you can do it, and focus on that, like the breath coming in, holding it, and then just the breath going out. And even if you just do that 3 times, it can make such a big difference, because when you're not focusing on your breathing, that's when it does kind of get out of control and, can get tight and you feel like you can't breathe properly and you start hyperventilating, and then that can lead to like a full-blown panic attack. So yeah, breathing's really a really useful tool because we do it all the time. It's there, we can focus on it, and it gives you something to focus on as well, which always helps when you're in a situation that's making you feel anxious. So something, it's really simple, like we may not realize how important it is. We just, like I say, we take it for granted. But yeah, focusing on your breath can really, really help if you're feeling anxious or uptight or nervous. I do it, I have to make a conscious effort sometimes to focus on my breath, to just calm it down and, make sure that I'm breathing deeper and deeper and deeper. And it does help, it really does. So yeah, like I say, got a text from my therapist saying he couldn't make it, so I had to come all the way home. And by the time I got home, I was kind of feeling the effects of the day. So I've mentioned before about the anxiety hangover, and that was kicking in big time. So I think because I'd been on edge for quite a while, that feeling of anxiety had just built up and built up and built up, and then it was just kind of like it was just there, steady, all day. And by the time I got home to like my safe space, my body just kind of just collapsed. And to kind of get over that, I normally meditate. I do a lot of meditation, or mindfulness. And a lot of people are probably wondering what's the difference between meditation and mindfulness. And in my opinion, from what I've discovered from doing both, is when I'm meditating, it's normally I'm trying to clear my mind, because my mind's going like 10 to the dozen. It's like thinking of all the worst case scenarios that could happen to you during the day. And meditation is really good at kind of clearing your mind and just like maybe just focusing on one specific thing. So like your breath, for example. So you're clearing you're not trying to think about anything. You're trying to clear your mind. So those intrusive thoughts are kind of pushed away, just to help you calm yourself. And then mindfulness is a really different practice. It may sound very similar, but mindfulness to me is where you're very much aware of the thoughts that are going around in your head, and you don't try and block them out, or you don't try and clear your mind. You just kind of accept that they're there. You just, it's almost like you take a step back from yourself, and you're viewing your thoughts as an outside person, and you're not like placing any emphasis on any thought that you have. You're just letting them come and go as they are, because that's what they do. Thoughts are just popping in and out all the time. It's very hard to control. And that's why meditation's a little bit more difficult than mindfulness, because in meditation you're really trying to focus on clearing all those thoughts away, whereas in mindfulness you're accepting them for what they are. They're just thoughts. So in truth, while you may feel like your head's full of negative thoughts, that's not really true. It's thoughts are just thoughts. You know, they're not good or bad or negative or positive. It's the kind of emphasis that we put on them ourselves, like we consciously make them one or the other. But the thought itself is just a thought. It's just there. It's our perception of that thought that makes it a good thing or a bad thing. And mindfulness kind of takes that out of the equation, so you're literally just observing your mind working, as it were. So it can be tough as well. You know, mindfulness and meditation, they take work, you know. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing today. I've just finished meditating. And yeah, there's some really good apps as well for meditation. Somebody else has brought it up before, but Insight Timer. I might try and put a link in the description below. It's an app that you can get for your phone. It's called Insight Timer, and it's really good. You can do like meditations, like guided or just on your own. There's a lot of things about breath work on there. There's mindfulness stuff on there, and it's really good because you can set a time limit. So you can say, oh, I've only got 5 minutes, and they've got like, you know, things already set that you can do for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever, however much time you've got. And yeah, it's really, really useful. It's free. I use it, you know, I'll try and use it a few times a week if I can. But yeah, like I said, I'll try and put it in the link below if you want to check that out. In the meantime, I'm going to leave it there for now. Hopefully I haven't rambled on too long. I probably have. But yeah, it's been relatively a good day today, so I'm pleased with what I've done. Disappointed I didn't get to go to therapy, but you know, it'll keep until Tuesday, I suppose. I've just got to keep myself occupied until then, and I've got some plans to do stuff, so it'll be cool. Yeah, but I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hope you're all doing well and that you're going to have a good weekend. So, bye.